And what's up YouTube, Kid Crush here, bringing you another Diablo 3 vlog. Today's vlog is going to be all about PvP in Diablo 3. Recently, on the Diablo fans website, they put up a post going over some of the PvP changes and some of the additions that Blizzard's doing to affect the PvP system. So I'm going to be going into the key points about that, and then as always towards the end, I'll tell you what I think about the whole topic. Now, one of the first changes I wanted to get into is if you were at BlizzCon last year, got to see the arena footage, basically what happened was when you died, you were basically out until the next round started. So you had to really wait for your teammate to die or your teammate to kill the other team. So, and Blizzard stated that they didn't really like the feel of this kind of gameplay, that they felt like it was just kind of a last man standing scenario. So they went about changing it by basically making it a team deathmatch style of play and a team deathmatch style of respawning. So which just means that when you die, you're going to have X amount of seconds before you can respawn and get back into the fight, which is very interesting, and I would like to see how that ends up turning out. Now, as far as the whole how you win the arena, basically they changed the system to where it's going to be based on the total kills between both players on the team. So whatever team has the most kills is going to win that arena, and that's how the whole winning system is going to work. Now, as far as the actual PvP teams themselves are concerned, at the last BlizzCon, basically the format that they were having the arena was a typical 2v2 or a 3v3 limitation. So basically that would limit the player cap to 6. Now, Blizzard did state that this isn't due to, it's only really due to like the visual problems, and they ran into some issues because obviously with Diablo 3 there's a whole new graphics, as opposed to D2, so the spells are going to be flashier, they're going to do more stuff, so on and so forth. But they have stated that they're playing around with the idea of making the cap for teams 4. So you might see some 4v4, and which in turn that would make the player cap 8. Now, another thing that I'm going to get into, and that they actually got into on the post, was again the big concern about the whole AH affecting the PvP system. Now, they brought it to Blizzard's table, basically, again, stating, and throughout the whole forums, everyone's been stating that their biggest concern is having the people who have the money just to throw around or have their parents buy them everything, giving them basically an unfair advantage where they can just buy the top level gear and then make it really far in the arena system, basically making the arena system already imbalanced from the word go. Now, Blizzard responded to this by basically they're coming out with a WoW style MMR system. So if anyone watching this has played WoW, done PvP in the arena, they're used to the whole matchmaking system where basically it consists of, it should put you against players at your own skill, so you're not just wiping through, low level people and whatever. Now, obviously, we see in WoW, people have used this to, they've exploited the MMR system and all sorts of stuff, so I'll get into that in a little bit towards the end here. But basically what Blizzard stated they were trying to do is, by making this MMR, they're trying to set it up to where the people who go out and buy all the best level gear are going to end up putting themselves against other really good players. So in their thoughts, it should balance it out. Again, I'll go over what I think about this towards the end. The feature that I really wanted to get into is the whole competitive side to PvP in Diablo 3. Now, it's been long since stated that Blizzard is definitely not focusing the game towards being an esport. They're not putting their time and effort into making PvP something that can be done at tournaments or BlizzCon or, just turn into any esport in general. Now, Blizzard isn't really planning on extensively balancing the PvP side of the game. So really, if players want to end up forming a group or try to get an esport to come of this, they're really going to have to deal with the imbalances that are going to basically come with the PvP side of the game. Now, one quote that I wanted to put up, I'm going to try to link it up into the video, but basically it says, when people say a barb is totally OP, we're going to be like, yeah, he probably is. Now, this is coming from straight from one of the directors of Diablo 3. Now, going from that, going into the PvP ranking system, currently there's not really a ranking system out there. Basically, they're not trying to track any of your stats. They're really not planning on tracking any of your stats as far as like your win ratio, your kill ratio, your death ratio, all sorts of stuff. And the reason that they said was for this is because they feel like people are going to be so focused on their kill death ratio and all that stuff. It's going to, if they start getting bad or whatever and their ratio starts getting messed up, they're going to basically form a new account, trash their old account, and restart from scratch. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that Blizzard stated that they don't really want to happen. But they have stated that instead of a ranking-based system, they want to have basically the players are going to have a quote-unquote PvP level. And this is going to be visible on your character banner. Now I'm going to go into a character banner in a little bit. Now what they said about the PvP level is winning's basically going to progress you faster through the levels. However, it is possible to reach the same levels no matter how much you lose. Now, one of the last things I really wanted to touch base on was some of the things that was brought up to Blizzard and about different people wanting different features that are put into the game as far as PvP-wise, one of which being a spectator mode. Now, what they said about the whole spectator mode, that is not off their list of possibilities. They do think there's a good market for it. They did quote that the spectator mode is more of an esport feature, so thus it being lower on their list of priorities. Which again, they're straying away from the esport aspect of the game. One of the other big features that the players were kind of wishing that would come around is basically a wagering system on a PvP match. So basically they wanted to try to get it to where they can get a wagering system where they would wager gold or possibly even real life currency on a PvP match. Now this feature does go hand in hand with the spectator mode feature, and it was not denied that this could be a feature, but at the same time, if Blizzard's really resistant on putting out the spectator mode, they're 9 times out of 10 not going to put a feature into the game where you're betting real money off of a PvP match. And the last key feature that I really wanted to go over was the whole PvP banner. Now this is pretty much going to be used to track your PvP achievements, and it's going to have like achievement markers, and it's going to tell if you're a hardcore player. Basically it's going to be almost like how can I explain it? Basically like a guild halberd in WoW. You'll be able to customize it, and more features will show up on the actual banner as you unlock different achievements and do different stuff in the PvP aspect of the game. And that's all the features that I really want to cover. If you want more in-depth features, guys, go to the Diablo Fans website. I will have it posted down in the description box as well. Check out the guys over at Force StarCraft 2. I believe it's their YouTube name. Again, I'll have that posted in the Dropbox below. Unfortunately, guys, they have the hookup. They got some amazing interviews with the actual game developers. So if you want to go check that out, again, hit up the links, go check them out. I highly recommend their videos. Now, as far as my opinion on this, all the features go, the big key features, again, that I'm concerned about is the AH system. And I made that clear in the first video that I'm worried about people basically buying their way to a higher rank. Now, as far as them putting in the MMR rating to help balance this out, again, if you go to WoW right now, people exploit the MMR all the time. They have people with high MMRs carry them to 2200. So they're not having hard fights. And really, I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen with Diablo 3. You're going to get these people who are going to buy their way into the high MMR, which, again, whether the MMR is there to, put them against high-ranking people, but still, they didn't earn their way to fight the high-ranking people. They bought their way there. Their gear got them there, and that's a big, big concern I have, and I'm sure many other fans have, about this whole MMR system. Now, my next thing that I really wanted to share my thoughts on is this whole esport aspect of Diablo 3. Now, the part that I'm really not liking is how it just seems like Blizzard is really straying away from having Diablo 3 being an esport and having a really immersed PvP aspect of the game. Now, in D2, as we all remember, I mean, you would walk outside and you would duel. You know, the duel would only last, you know, it wouldn't really last that long. And then you would have, you know, hackers, you know, as far as the whole Javazons, and, you know, you would have basically Hammerdins that would just, you know, could teleport right on you, kill you in one shot. You know, so really, towards the end, the PvP system in Diablo 2, it wasn't really that in depth other than just going out and dueling. You know, but it was still fun. Despite all the hackers and all those, it was still a fun thing to do. And really, for Diablo 3, I really wanted to see a more extensive PvP system being put in place. Now, as far as an esport goes, I'm sure me, as long as with other fans, like, I'll tell you right out, I love the story of the game. I love the lore. I love the questing. I love killing the bosses in Diablo 2. I love doing that. However, I was big into PvP, you know, and I'm a big PvP player when it comes to games. And I would absolutely love to see Diablo 3 have an esport. Start seeing Diablo 3 arenas at future BlizzCons. Seeing people have tournaments for the actual arena. I would absolutely love to see that, and I really think they can make some good money off it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, seeing what money we can make off it, and seeing basically a high demand of fans. And I really think, you know, the fans are going to speak the loudest here. If we, you know, eventually, if we get some groups together and start pushing Blizzard towards an esport, you know, they might crack and they might start gearing it towards, but, you know, 100%, I would love to get the fans together and get an esport made out of this game. Because I really think, you know, the Diablo franchise deserves to have that sort of next level of competition. But, alright, anyway, guys, that's my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Post in the comments below. Again, check out those sites that I have down in the Dropbox. This is Kid Crush signing out. Peace.